Hello and welcome to Zero Point Energy, with a 0 point what we talk about with just so much energy. I'm Sean,
And this is Jorge.
and today we are celebrating the greatest holiday ever. It's Rex Manning Day.
Th- That's not a thing, buddy.
Well, I mean, we could celebrate the actual thing that it's based off of and why they chose the date of April 8th, but that's kind of depressing because that's the day that Kurt Cobain killed himself.
It's Rex Manning Day, everybody.
See, there's a
Okay.
reason to celebrate Rex Manning Day.
I wish it wasn't Rex Manning Day, but fine. You know what? Fine. Look, it's yeah. That
So,
that wasn't planned. That was completely just wow. Okay.
yes, and for those of you who don't know what Rex Manning Day is, it is a fictional holiday created for the movie Empire Records. A
Movie.
wonderful, wonderful piece of filmmaking and music from 1995.
Yeah. I'd only ever seen clips. This movie's fucking amazing. I wish I had seen it when I was younger.
I mean, you were 5 when this movie came out, so it makes sense that you didn't watch it as a kid. I watched it when it first came out, and I've watched it so many times over the years. This is legit. One of the movies that I could honestly 100% say is one of my favorite movies.
Okay, like you know how there are timeless movies that people still remember, like freaking John Hughes films, like was it
Yeah,
like Ferris Bueller, um The Breakfast Club, stuff like that. This should have been up there. This wasn't a John Hughes movie, but still,
no,
this has
but
that
this
same
is
kind of huh?
it is. This is one of those cult classic timeless films of, yeah, it's a product at the time it came out, but you can still relate to it now. It's one of those masterpieces. Yeah, it didn't do great then, but it got that cult following just like all the John Hughes movies do. Um,
Okay.
People who saw them as kids are like, it's a good enough movie when I was young. And now as an adult, it's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I'm going to watch this movie all the time.
Just I don't know. This is like I saw the John Hughes movies when I was a kid. Not all of them, but like this one was completely out of my radar. Yes, I was 5, but still, this like it actually kind of hurts that I didn't see this when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, it can. It just,
And
some movies you just get disappointed that you didn't see when you were younger. And this is one of those movies that I feel everyone who's old enough to have seen this movie in the 90s, if you didn't, you should feel bad.
and I do. I mean, like I this is like honestly, I kind of wish I had watched this when I was like 6 or 7. Probably still too young to watch this, but it would have been fun as hell.
Yeah.
What do you call it? We got Anthony LaPaglia as Joe, Debbie Mazar as Jane. Let's see, we got Rory. Wait,
Robin Tooney as Deborah, Liv Tyler as Corey. Uh,
uh,
God,
Renee Zellweger
such
as
great.
Gina,
Yep.
and I have to mention him just because it seems wrong not to. Brandon Sexton III as Warren, or as Brandon Sexton, whatever you like. We never actually see his name in the movie, but he's just Warren.
Yep. He's Warren. And oh god, who else is in this? We had Johnny Whitworth as AJ, uh the musician Coyote Shivers as Barco, Max
Did we mention?
Maxwell
Go ahead.
Caulfield as we got Maxwell Caulfield as Rex Manning,
He looked familiar. Let me check. You know what? Hold on. Let me see. Is he who I think he is?
probably.
Let me see. Is he looks like him, but I'm not seeing it in his stuff. I thought he was the dad in Smallville, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I'm not seeing him credited as the dad in Smallville.
Weird.
I thought it was him. Like, it looks like him, but I guess not. Maybe I was just wrong. Yeah, I think I was just wrong. Yeah.
Possibly.
No, like
And we
this
also
movie
have
has go for it.
we've got the best kind of blink and you miss him character because his character got cut out of the film, so you only see him for a brief second in the background. But Toby Maguire was in the original cut of this movie, playing the character of Andre, and is still credited for being in this movie, even though all his scenes are cut out. and there's one scene where you like see him pass in the background. It's the only scene of Andre that didn't get cut out.
Damn. Okay. Oh, also we got to mention the what is his name? The pizza dude who just comes in who also works part time there. James Kimmel Wills as Eddie.
Yes.
Like he doesn't have as many lines in this, but he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. Andre was supposed to be his friend, and they would come in together, kind of like a Jay and Silent Bob thing.
Ah, okay.
But fun fact that most people don't know: young Toby Maguire was actually struggling with substance abuse, and he went into rehab shortly after filming his scenes, and that's why he requested that the scenes be cut out of the movie. He was
Damn.
trying to become clean, so he didn't want to be seen as this stoner character.
Okay, makes sense, but I mean, everybody's addicted to something, you know? It's like some
Well,
people are addicted to food.
yeah, well, after he came out of rehab, that's when he really kind of kick-started being in movies almost full time. So he didn't want to get typecast as the kind of either stoner best friend or as the kind of pothead young characters. He wanted to be in serious roles, which means he needed to clean himself up.
That's not necessary. There are plenty of people who are on stuff who got really serious roles. They just needed to
Yeah,
be high to do them.
yeah. He chose to clean himself up so he could play cleaner roles,
No, I got you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
which is cool.
No, I agree. What's it called? It's just when you gotta get clean, it's really effing difficult. But if you can do it, then power to you.
And there's all kinds of dumb little fun facts for this movie, like the fact that Robin Tooney, like the production company was actually going to fire her. They didn't think she could play the depressed teen character of Deborah because she was too cute to be believable as being depressed. So
The
it was
fuck?
her. It was her suggestion. So, well, what if I shaved my head? And then literally went got scissors and a razor and they filmed her shaving her head live. That's the scene they shot. That was her idea and they did it. So it's like, well, if you fuck up, we have to now get a wig and reshoot all your scenes, which is
How could
mostly
you
just her
fuck up shaving your
introduction.
head?
Well, if it looks bad or if she accidentally cut her head or something.
Okay, yeah, but at the same time, like, even like you're an
As somebody
actor,
who
like,
has shaved my own head multiple times, it is entirely possible to fuck it up.
no, I don't doubt that. What I mean more along the lines is her acting ability. She's a great actress, and the fact that they're like, yeah, you're not believable, like, the fuck she isn't.
Well, it's the look of the character. It's like, yeah, she's kind of gothy and she had the piercings and tattoos, but it's like it didn't really sell that she was depressed when she had that kind of cute bob haircut that you see at the beginning of the movie. So she shaved her head as the whole, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm doing wild things to get attention.
I'm just gonna say we'll agree to disagree on that one. Like with not you, I mean with the producers and the people in the movie. Because
Well,
fuck that,
yeah,
no. Because there's, I mean, then again, this is hindsight is 2020 type shit. So yeah,
yeah. And honestly, like I think her with the shaved head was a great choice because she's so cute in this movie. Like I had such a crush on her as a kid.
she's cute, but
Even
she's such a
now,
bitch, which is a good thing for the movie. But still,
which is why it's such a turn on. Like she may have been the start of my fascination with alt girls.
buddy, I think you have issues. Like the alt girl thing, fine. I mean the liking the girl who's bad thing. Like no, no.
Yeah, that's blown up in my face more times than I care to admit. Luckily, I'm in a happily committed relationship now.
Good, good for you, you evil son of a no. Um, like
Hey, we all make mistakes when we're young, right?
sure, sure. I no. Yes, we all make mistakes when we're young. Okay, first time you got blackout drunk. First time you tried something not knowing that you tried something. Like, yeah. Like if those aren't rites of passages in like modern America, I don't know what is.
True. And like, there's another like great thing about this movie is its soundtrack. It's true, it's 90s as hell, but it is the perfect soundtrack for this movie. I mean, you've got the Gin Blossoms, Cranberries, Edwin Collins, the Martinis, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Innocent Mission, Better Than Ezra, Ape Hangers, and so many amazing bands from the late 80s, early 90s.
Like some 70s, we had the Carpenters in there too.
Oh, yeah, you had Carpenters, you had some AC/DC, a couple of other ones. Like, weirdly enough, those songs did not make the soundtrack. The soundtrack is mostly the more contemporary music that's in it. So you get bands like Please and Luster, Evan Dondo, and of course
Mhm, true.
Coyote Shivers. Since he's in the movie, his song is on the soundtrack. It's his version of Sugar High that made it to the soundtrack album, and not the version we hear in the movie. So we don't get. So if you bought the soundtrack album, you don't get to hear Renee Zellweger's vocals on the song Sugar High, which for me was the reason I bought the fucking album.
Okay, she. I don't. Okay, in the end of the movie, that's when we actually hear her sing "Sugar High." She like has a little bit of a scare at the beginning of it. She's just doing background, and then Coyote Shivers' character actually Burko tells her like, "Go ahead, do the lead," and then she actually like she starts off a little rocky, and then she comes into her own. I fucking love that. Reminds me of my first
Yeah.
time doing karaoke, and it was awesome. And yeah,
And her voice is perfect for it. That little bit of gravel, that little bit of a squeak. It's wonderful. Especially for that type of song. Like, I wish we
no,
could play a clip of it, but of course fucking copyrights.
yeah, no, we're not doing that. We've already tackled copyright, tried to do our best with that. We're not doing it again. It's a pain in the fucking ass.
I know, I'm just saying, I wish we could put a little clip of that song. But anybody who, like, maybe we'll put a link to the scene in the description.
We can do that,
We'll
yeah.
see. You'll
Like
find out when you watch this episode fully, people. Check the description after, either right now or when you're done listening to us talk the nonsense that we talk.
it's not nonsense, it's our opinion.
Yeah, true. I mean, it can't be nonsense.
It can be, but don't say that. People will go away. No, but I mean, one weird thing about the soundtrack, okay? Guar. They're not a bad band, but it just Sadama Gogo. Just they're weird,
Also,
okay? Let's just be honest.
dumbly enough, Guar is not also on the official soundtrack to the movie, even though they're in the movie playing a song.
Yeah. Also, Mark's character is fucking weird. Like
I
he's
that I'd say that is a testament to the range of the actor Ethan Embry, is his ability to play Mark. Mark is, yeah, you're right. He's fucking weird.
like he's
He's a total pothead. He honestly, sober, he's a weird guy. He gets even weirder when he's eating his edibles.
not just that. Like I swear, this would be the first instance of war in a movie. Because literally, in during the war scene, he's eating his brownie. He's having a hallucination, like get in the band. The war is telling him like play guitar. They're like you play guitar really well, and then suddenly they have the I don't know what that thing is. They're basically eating him, and he's just like smiling at it, like he's not even panicking. He's just like, huh, okay, yeah, and continuing eating his brownie. Like the fuck.
He's so happy. And realistically, I mean, the story bit about this entire movie is the cast and crew, the employees of the store, Empire Records, are trying to save it from being closed down. But at one point, everybody, including the manager, uh, Joe, just kind of fuck off to do a fake funeral in the back room for Deborah, leaving Mark by himself at the front of the store to handle customers. And he is just doing it. He's handling the store, answering the phones until finally he gets overwhelmed and asks for help on the PA. But Mark is the hero of this movie. Like,
I
he
I
does
wouldn't.
all the little stupid things that everybody else should be doing. And the sheer joy in which he has trying to unfold a folding table to prepare for Rex Manning Day.
That's another thing. He didn't do Rex Manning though.
He did not. He's one of the few characters who did not try to fuck Rex Manning.
Also, like I forgot the name of Rex Manning's manager. Jane,
Debbie
I want to
Mazer.
say.
Yeah,
Debbie
Jane.
Mazer, yeah. And like I think she should have gotten a little more screen time just because at the end it turns out like, you know what, I want to work here too. And she goes back to Empire Records and she hits on Joe. And yeah, I could see a little romance happening there.
Well, I think they were in a half-ass on and off relationship. It kind of hinted at that when she comes with Rex Manning. And that's why when she quits, she tells Joe, like, we don't get to see the scene in the office where she quits. Like some of her extended scenes also got cut from the movie, which it would have been nice to see a little bit more of that back and forth between Joe and Jane.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Also, I love her haircut. She like kind of reminds me of like a wannabe but still hot Pat Benatar. You know what I mean?
You know, those icy blue eyes of her work really well with the ginger hair.
Yep.
I mean, she's gorgeous as her normal with the dark black hair, but the red hair she has in this movie, she's beautiful.
Hmm.
And you know, with again, like because she has these naturally just icy blue eyes, it lends her to being a ginger because it just amplifies the soullessness of gingers.
No, if anything, it means they have a soul.
What that she has these light, lifeless eyes?
No, they're bright. They're blue. What do you mean lifeless?
No, that would be the green eyes that most gingers have. Like her eyes are so icy white, the icy blue, they're almost white, and that's natural.
Yeah, I'm still gonna say she has a soul.
Yep. I said there, I want to talk about the plot of this movie, but this movie doesn't really have a plot. Like it's the general
Okay,
story of Lucas stole the money because he found out that they're going to sell the store to become this chain Music City store, and he doesn't want that to happen. So
Music Town.
he drives Music Town. Okay, yeah. So he steals the money from the overnight shift, goes to Atlantic City, and tries to win big in the casino. Puts down his first bet of $9,000, wins, doubles it, and then lets it ride for a second roll because he's playing craps and loses it all. And
Just
from then on, it's the consequences of they don't have the money to pay to stop the sale of the store, so they have no choice but to accept that they're being sold.
okay, but to be fair, he was doing it because he was trying to actually save the store. He didn't. He's a dumbass for doing it that
Yeah,
way. But
no,
you know what I mean.
yes, he was trying to do the right thing, but he didn't have all the information, so he fucked up.
Yep.
Which we've all been there. Where you're misinformed and you do bad things because you acted impulsively.
Which is annoying, but sometimes you have to act impulsively because otherwise you miss out on an opportunity.
True, I mean it's human nature.
You just got to choose your risks. Also, do not gamble. The house always wins, literally, unless you're some kind of mathematical savant.
Or unless you're gambling in one of the 5 casinos that Donald Trump ran bankrupt, because the house always wins, and yet somehow he bankrupted 5 casinos.
That's called embezzling. This is all in fun. This is not libel. This is all literally
uh,
just joking.
until he gets indicted for that too.
I don't know. Statute of limitations might work on that, depending.
Possibly.
Eh.
I mean, it is a matter of public record that he did bankrupt multiple casinos and they are now closed. And he no longer, he used to own Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. That permanently closed in 2019. He used to own the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, which is now the Hard Rock Cafe, Atlantic City. He owned a casino that was on native land, fucked over the tribe that originally owned the casino, and then gave it back to them after it was too far gone to save. Like, he's an excellent businessman. We need him running our country. Trump 2024. Let's go.
Again, that was satire, people. Please, please learn that that was satire. Look, okay, anything Donald Trump touches leave. And I don't mean leave politically. I mean like, quote unquote, let's say he is the president again, okay? And start investing in other currencies because some bad shit's gonna happen. Like shit, bad shit's
Yeah.
happening now with inflation and shit.
You mean like he's failed cryptocurrency? Trump bucks?
He literally called it Trump bucks. God damn it.
I forget what the fuck he called it, but he may as well have called it Trump bucks. Literally, yeah.
All right, let's.
Let's.
Okay.
I know I went off
This
on a tangent there.
no, you're fine. I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say about the movie though. Fuck. Oh, right. Okay. So, like, this movie has a couple of interwoven stories that are still a part of the main story of Save Empire Records. Lucas is basically exiled to a couch, and everybody else is working. We've got the characters of Gina. I forgot her name. What is Liv
Corey
Tyler's character's name in this? Corey. And we got AJ. We got Mark.
Burko, who is oddly off screen as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, he's I he's in this movie, but I wouldn't really count him as a main character.
Yeah, like Burko is always off screen doing something, and but you'd think it'd be AJ's character who'd always be off screen because, like, at the beginning of the movie, AJ's tasked with one thing: go get the sign on top of the roof working again. And what does he not do for almost the entire movie? Work on the sign on the roof.
He literally does it at the last minute at the end of the goddamn movie.
And it only starts working through the power of love and friendship, because no matter what he did to fix it, wasn't working. And then he kisses Liv Tyler's character, and the sign works. The power of boners compels you.
Nope, if the power of boners compelled you, then she would have slept with Rex Manning.
Maybe he just had a scary boner. It was either really big or really small. Either way, she ran away crying.
No comment on that. Just no comment. God damn.
I
Okay,
mean,
look.
Gina didn't exactly look like she was having fun with it.
We didn't even see any of that.
We saw a little of it.
Barely.
She
We just
definitely
saw
did not come
stripping.
out of that room satisfied.
Much like Alexander Hamilton's wife. You saw
That's
Hamilton because of me. That's the only reason you get that joke.
I didn't even see Hamilton. I just know the story of it.
Okay, the joke was. Oh, I'm not explaining the goddamn joke. If anybody's seen Hamilton, you get it. Okay, if I could, I would want to get my hands on the Blu-ray of this. According to this, there was a 2015 Blu-ray that has a bunch of special features and cut scenes. But I would want to take the original and put the like deleted scenes that were cut out and put them back in. See if like a I don't this you wouldn't call it a director's
Yeah,
cut, a Jorge cut of this movie.
yeah, because I think the scenes that the Blu-ray include are the extended scenes between Joe and Jane, because the Andre scenes, the Tobey Maguire scenes, they were cut before production. Like, they didn't even go to like the pre-production like test screening stuff. Like, they were cut before they finalized the movie. Whereas their scenes, the Joe and Jane scenes, were cut because they just didn't work well with the test screenings, and also to kind of save runtime.
This movie could have, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, could have been a little longer, just because I would have wanted to see more of that. This movie is fun as hell. I want to rewatch it honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this movie's great. This is one of those. If you grew up end of the '90s, early 2000s with cable, this is one of those movies. Of every time it was on, you watched it. It's also used to come on a lot on like Fox on Saturday afternoons. Like right before sports started, this would be their afternoon movie.
I wonder how I never watched it that way. Damn. Okay.
Because you were too busy watching anime on Telemundo.
That was in the
Which is
early
not,
morning.
they had a decent run of Saturday stuff. Either that or you're watching the Bollywood movies on Channel 23.
Yeah, I watched those too. You're right.
Some of those were really good. I would watch some of them sometimes.
You hate the singing. How did you?
I do, but I do now. Well, I have intentionally listened and watched a lot of different media so I can form my opinions on it that I have now.
Just I don't know where exactly this thing takes place, but it's somewhere in New Jersey, and it looks fun to have worked there. I mean, everybody's supposed to be, well, most everybody's supposed to be a teenager except for Lucas. Lucas is apparently a philosophy major in college.
Yes.
Also, he is philosophical, but at the same time, he's the kind of philosophical where it sounds like you're smart, but you're high as fuck, aren't you?
Yeah. So apparently the movie is set in Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah. So Lucas would have rode his motorcycle for 3 or 4 hours through the night to get to Atlantic City.
Hold, I'm checking that. Hold on, Delaware. Delaware to Atlantic City. Yeah, 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, depending on traffic. I
Yep.
like when there's a big body of water spread like across land like that. Just make a goddamn bridge. Like I still want that bridge from iRobot from like Chicago to somewhere in Michigan. I think I want that bridge to be built.
It's Chicago to Detroit.
That's it, Chicago to Detroit. That would be fun. Would be scary
And
as hell, but it would be fun.
and honestly, this movie, the store that you see is actually based on a real store that the either director or writer she used to work at when she was a teenager. It was the Tower Record Store number 166 in the Christtown Mall in Phoenix, Arizona.
There's no way that place is still open, but
Oh,
I would have
probably
loved to have
not,
seen
but
it.
and most of the characters, especially Corey, Gina, Lucas, they're all based off of her coworkers.
Right, what you know.
Exactly.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah, because that means I got to write religion.
um,
That
the location of the store that we see is actually in North Carolina, though. Like the movie is
eh,
set in Delaware. It was shot in North Carolina, and it's based off of a store that used to exist in Arizona.
fuck it. This place is timeless.
Exactly. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this movie. Like,
Like,
I could just talk about the little dumb things about this movie,
okay,
and it's
specifically,
great.
this is, and to me at least, in terms of the coming of age aspect of it, this is a idealized workplace that I wish still existed. And I don't mean necessarily just working at a record store. I mean like I could go there, I could do my work, I could slack off a little bit, but still have fun with my work because I had fun coworkers. It wasn't all work, 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 efficiency, because that's basically what we have now, especially since COVID, you know?
Yeah, um, and that's kind of an aspect of my job that I got lucky with. I just kind of dumb lucked out that I can have the fun at work like that, and like I have a few coworkers that I can just kind of talk with and have fun with when we happen to be on the same shift together. But at my job, as long as I do my work and I get everything done, I can do what I want in my free time. So if I do all the important work right away, I've got a lot of free time as long as I always take care of my customers as they come in. And that
Yeah,
seems to
that's
be the
not a thing.
environment. Yeah, that's like the environment that you kind of see in this movie. As long as the employees are actually doing their job, nobody cares what they do as long as at the end of the day their job gets done.
Yeah, I wish things were still like that. Now it's just get the most out of the employees because employees don't have rights. You're a slave. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's rare to find good work environments like that. And like I said, I dumb lucked out with this job, and it's part of why I'm happy to do my job.
Then,
Like I would
okay,
love to
go
work in a
ahead.
place like Empire. Like I would love to work in a store like Empire Records that would just listen to music all day and just kind of fuck around.
Both figuratively and literally. If you look to your right, you'll see in the booth two teenagers going at. I'm kidding. No, that's literally a scene in the movie. No, like that kind of environment is again really fun, really rare nowadays, and The I yeah, I can't really I've had one job like that, but that was an internship. That's probably why I got away with shit.
I mean, you and me used to have some fun conversations while we were working when we used to work together.
Yeah, but that was yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you that.
Even to the point where having to be reminded by another coworker of, other people can hear you, right?
Yeah, we.
But see, the benefit there was I was the boss, so I don't fucking care if other people can hear me. I'm in charge.
Ugh.
Who are they going to complain to? I want to speak to your manager. I am the manager, bitch.
Oh God, there was that one lady that, uh, not mentioning names and shit, but that one lady in the store near the theater.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck is wrong with you, woman? Like, we weren't doing anything. Like, legit, we weren't even talking loud or nothing. She was complaining because like we were taking up too much space. Like, this is work. We have to do work.
Yep. It's the one thing I don't miss about that job, which was mostly retail based. It was you'd get customers who complained about the dumbest fucking things. Like, oh, why are you blocking the aisle? Because I'm rearranging the entire aisle. That's why I'm blocking the aisle. Why are you taking things off the shelf? Because I have to take things off the shelf so I can move the shelf. Because if I didn't, that shelf would weigh 500 pounds.
That job was basically Tetris the game or Tetris the life, I guess.
It was,
Tetris
and
the
I was
job.
excellent. Yeah, I was excellent at it, though.
I don't disagree. I
And
was
it
just good.
it carried into my current job too. Like, I used to do reset work, and now every now and then I have to do it where I'm at now. And me and my manager, we were doing a cooler reset, and our district manager came in, and she was like, you have a month to do that, right? I'm like, oh, cool, we're done. Like, how long did it take you? I don't know. I got here at 9 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock now, so about that long. And then we were joking, because she was talking to my manager. She was like, "How did you get it done so quickly?" And I go, "Well, he has the advantage that other stores don't have of having a professional resetter working for him
That's the
because I
thing.
could
No,
just knock out, yeah,
go
I
for it.
just bang out a shelf fucking super quick. But I spent a lot of years doing that job, so it makes sense that now I can do it without even trying.
Yeah. Wait,
Wait,
I
what?
just the next movie after this for Robin Tooney was The Craft. How the fuck did she grow back her hair?
She did not.
That was a wig.
Yeah, yeah,
That was a really convincing wig. Goddamn, because I know her for that hair, and she had that kind of wavy-ish hair.
yeah, because the craft came
That
out
was a
in
really good.
'96.
That was a really good wig. Damn.
Like she legit just started like filming the movie. I think she was filming it at the same time or right after.
Not to objectify anybody, but Renee Zellweger back then, amazingly beautiful. And Liv Tyler, like, don't even need to compare, but like then later on, Renee Zellweger, like, she got way too much plastic surgery and stuff. Like, what? I don't know what happened there. I mean, I guess you get old and you want to recover your youth type thing.
A little bit. There's also she gained a bunch of weight and then lost it, and that changed how she looked a bit too. But back to what you were talking about for Robin Tooney doing The Craft. The filming for The Craft started 1 month after Empire Records finished filming. So she wore a
Jesus
wig through the
Christ.
entire filming process. Oh, and another fun fact, because we're from Chicago, Robin Tooney is also a Chicago native,
Long live Robin Tooney. Damn.
which I keep saying her name is Tooney. It might be pronounced Tunny. I'm not positive. I just know it's Tunney. I've always heard it as Tooney, but I'm not positive. But yeah, that is a very, very good wig that she's wearing. Especially because they have the hallway scene when the four girls are walking shoulder to shoulder and they've got the wind machine blowing their hair. And that wig is moving. You see it, it's all fluffed out around her shoulders, but it does not move an inch off of her head.
Must have had very good glue or clips.
Probably a bit of both.
One of my favorite lines of this movie was when they called her Sinead O Rebellion.
Yeah.
Like that
I love the
story.
little pins that she makes, especially for Mark. She's like, and for the man with the band, they would, Mark sucks.
He
Yay.
was so happy about that too.
He's so happy about everything. That man is just happy to be alive. Like he might have been high on weed a lot, but he was also high on life.
In all seriousness, he must be pretty dumb just because like ignorance is bliss and shit.
And he lives in Nirvana.
You had to go back to Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, really? You bastard.
I was not intentional, but yes.
You not intentional, my ass. I know you.
I mean, it wasn't. It was not my intention when I said that. But Kurt Cobain did
But
die the year before this movie came out.
production for this must have gone either really quick or they came up with, you know what? Let's make Rex Manning Day April 6th. Like something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like Rex Manning Day is, I believe, the 8th. Let's see. Let me double check that. When is Rex Manning Day? So Rex Manning Day is April 8th. Kurt Cobain died on April 5th, but the news announcement wasn't until the 8th.
So they pulled so they pulled the Kurt Cobain during Akira Toriyama's death too then, because he died like 2 or 3 days earlier.
Well, they didn't find his body until a couple days later. Like the news announcement was when they found his body, but he officially died the 5th. I still say Courtney Love did it.
I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just sad because he died.
I am too. I mean, there's only one other person who could gain from Kurt Cobain not being around anymore, and that's the person who legitimately did benefit the most from it, and that would be
Please don't be
Dave
repeating
Grohl.
this. God damn it.
I mean, he absolutely benefited from it. He became the frontman of what, 3 other bands, all of which were Grammy nominated, 2 of which are Grammy winners. One is Oscar nominated.
Okay, no more conspiracy theories about his death. Just we're leaving it at that because no.
No, what we should do is celebrate the wonderful music that he left us.
Agreed.
I mean, yeah, it's the quintessential teen angst of the late 80s, early 90s, but Nirvana, it can't be understated how much of an impact Nirvana had on the music industry and the music scene. And, bringing grunge to the forefront, but also kind of kickstarting the alternative music movement that was most of the 90s.
Agreed. I mean, but the music, the 90s had such a weird. Okay, basically every music has such a weird, like, different dissonance and collection of music, but like the 90s was very progressive. Okay, like my mom, when she first listened to grunge, she thought it was noise. She was like, "Are they trying to make music?" And I had to basically explain, like, listen to this tone and listen how it changes, listen to this tone and how it changes in order to try to see the music. And then she's like, okay, that's actually pretty good. Like it
But
sounds weird.
it's also the mindset of grunge. Like you're not like yes, you can go into it and look at how like even though it sounds grungy, it sounds bad. There's a musicality to it, but it's not meant to be analyzed like that. What it's meant for is it's sounds that convey that feeling, that angsty feeling, that rebelling against the man, that I hate society and I don't know how to feeling. And those
Okay,
are the
no,
sounds you get from grunge music.
I agree. But then there's all okay, let me give you an example because like I didn't like grunge at first. And then until I listened to it and then I saw okay, there is something to this. Like I analyzed it like that, you know? And then a friend of mine tried to get me to listen to what he called experimental music. And I say experimental with quotes because it, it was basic honestly, I couldn't find anything in it. It was basically all static.
Yeah. I mean that happens. Like the first time I ever heard like nightcore, fucking hated it. Now I kind of tolerate it. It's still not one of my favorite genres, but it happens. Like there's some music that it doesn't resonate with you, but that's because it's not music for you. So yeah, a lot of people didn't resonate with grunge because pe- a lot of people didn't have that angst. They didn't have that feeling of not knowing where they were in the world and what their place was and what their role was or the uncertainty of their future. This music was for the people who did have those feelings. And I think that's why it became so popular is it wasn't for older people. It was for younger people. It was for people who just hitting their teenage years. Like it wasn't meant for people that were in your and my age group. We just kind of fell into it and was like, this is awesome music. This speaks to me. But we were kids. We were not the audience for this music. This music was the music of the Gen Xers, the music of the people who were 15, 16, 17, 18 years old between 1988 and 1993.
I got you. I mean, it's weird how like you can go back, like me going back seeing Empire Records and relate to it how I felt back in late high school. What the fuck am I gonna do? And then trying to actually like AJ trying to go to art school or Corey like trying to be the best possible to get into the best in order to
Yeah,
try
because
to like try to meet her dad's expectations because he was a perfectionist. He's just like I'll know you'll be valedictorian. Like, the fuck? Like, you do not tell somebody that.
yeah, and I think that's where the movie holds up now. Because if you take the monetary value out, like the fact that it's $9,000, which yeah was a decent chunk of money in 1995, it's fucking pocket change now because $9,000 doesn't do shit. Nine
You could
thousand
barely
dollars
buy a
pays rent.
car.
It can't buy a car. It barely pays rent. It doesn't pay a mortgage at all. Like $9,000 would not buy you a store. It wouldn't buy you property. But if you take the actual money value off of it and just look at the situations the different characters are in, the personalities and everything, like that still resonates. Like you can relate to Corey and her struggle, her need for validation because she's constantly being pushed to be her best, to live up to other people's expectations, and she's not being herself, and she's never allowed to be herself. And then there's Gina, who is afraid to pursue her dreams, so she acts out, and the only way she knows how to act out is to be slutty. Like she knows she's a good-looking woman, she's a beautiful woman, she can get things from people, especially men, by using her looks and using her body. So that's what she does to cope with never having to fail at achieving her dreams. And she can use that as an excuse of, well, I never achieved my dreams because nobody sees me for anything other than the sex object. Because she also never puts herself in a position to be anything but a sex object. Deborah is she's depressed and she's sad because she doesn't talk to her mother. She doesn't have family around her. She feels like nobody understands what she's going through, so she acts out. And it's hard. She's got anxiety. She's got depression. She wants to rebel against everything, but she doesn't know how. But she also wants to fit in and also doesn't know how. Like every one of these characters has those. It's that archetype that you can relate to. AJ wanting to go to art school, but not thinking his art is good enough to actually get in. Like even though when you see his drawings, you see his paintings, like that's wonderful art. Yeah, it's not contemporary, it's modern, it's his art, but he could absolutely put that together as a portfolio and go to school if he would just pull the trigger and do it. Even Warren starts the movie as we introduced his character, he's a shoplifter, and then when he comes back and confronts them with the gun, he's not doing it to hurt people. Even shoplifting, he's not doing it. He is just another kid who doesn't know his way in life, so he's just acting out. And so when they offer him a job, and they're like, why would anybody give me a job? There's no reason for it. And look at what I've done. Why would you give me a chance? And then they go, no, but seriously, do you want a job here? Or would you like to work in a record store and listen to music all day? He's like, yeah. So they give him a fucking job. And that's one of the things of like, he just wanted a place in life. He wanted something to do with his time, something to not be just the dumb, rebellious kid. He needed someone to give him a chance. Even Lucas and his anti-government, anti-society, anti-capitalist. Lucas is fucking me. He hates the world. He hates everything the world stands for. He hates people, but he loves his job. He's committed to that because it's his happy. It's what gets him through life. It's the thing he does that he doesn't hate. The people he works with, he doesn't just tolerate them. He likes them. He loves them. Those are the people he wants in his life. So he does the bad thing of stealing the money in a misguided attempt to help them. And who can't relate to doing something stupid thinking you're helping out when realistically you're making the situation worse? Especially trying to help your family who didn't ask for the help, but you want to help them. And Joe, the mentor who hasn't given up, but has also given up. Like he's just been beaten down for so much, for so long. And he just wishes he could do his thing. He wants to make a difference. But he doesn't want to do it with just anybody. He wants his group of misfits around him. Not necessarily as their leader, but he'll accept that role because they're his group of misfits. And when you think of this movie in those terms, when you break down the characters to those type of archetypes, that's why this movie holds up, 23 years later as a great movie.
I don't know, like I said, everybody should watch this movie. I didn't watch it when I was a kid. I definitely wish I had. And there's not really more to say about this. Like you said, the archetypes are
Yeah, I mean,
they're
it's
not.
a dumb, fun movie. You don't think of this deep meaning behind it, but you can see that deep meaning even if you cursorily look for it, you'll see it. I've stunned you to silence.
No, I'm trying to find out what else to say because I mean, I've said what I wanted to about this movie. There's not much more I can say, like because like you said, the archetypes and stuff. But in terms of the place, like okay, personally, I think that certain movies should be either remade, and I don't mean remade literally like freaking like they remade Rocky with Creed and stuff, no, actually that would work. But what I mean is like the same kind of stories are being remade over and over again, but sometimes the message gets lost in the comedy and stuff, or maybe there is no message and it's just a how to say it, a fun movie, a fun romp. And this movie definitely counts somewhat as a fun romp, but it's still it hit me in my heart. You know what I mean? Like I viscerally love this movie. It's not just intellectually.
Yeah, and I think that's why this is one of those movies that could never be remade. This is one of those movies that exists as its own thing, and if you tried to remake it, you'd be forced to make it to today's standards, to today's ideologies, to today's perceptions. And a movie like this wouldn't work today, mostly because who enjoys their job? Who goes to work at a minimum wage job now and is fucking happy? At the fuck all. Like I am, but I have other things in my life. The whole point of these characters is that they have nothing in their life except for their team of coworkers and this store. This is their happy. Every day they get to come and do their job is a day they get to escape their lives and be happy for a few hours. That that story would not hold up today if you shot this movie from today's point of view, because you'll never find a group of 8 fucking coworkers who are happy to be around their coworkers all goddamn day.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, what do you call it? There are some people who I like at my job. I don't see them anymore because work from home. But I mean, then there are others who just annoy the fuck out of you, and you're like, this job would be heaven except for you. You're that little piece of hell. And you know what? I still love you, but fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can, as you break these characters down to the archetypes, you can resonate with them. But the one aspect that you can't resonate with is the fact that they're so happy to be at work doing their job. Any movie that ever shows that instantly becomes we have to suspend our belief of reality to understand this movie. But in the past, in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I started working, that was my reality. I enjoyed going to work. I liked the jobs I did. Like I used to work in a factory and I loved the job, yeah, sometimes I would complain about how hard the work was. I loved the work. I loved my coworkers, even though being around those coworkers is actually what developed my dislike for the Spanish language. But that's because I was one of three people who spoke English in a factory of 50 guys. Like, I had to learn Spanish because I had no choice. It wasn't an option. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to speak Spanish. It's, no, you must speak Spanish or you can't do this job because the other guys refuse to learn English. And they're the majority. They outnumber you. So, like, that's the one aspect that I absolutely did not like about the job. Other than that, I loved the job. I loved the physicality. I loved doing the hard labor. I loved at the end of the day, I could look over at the stack of pallets that I built, and I'm like, I did that. I had a part in that. That is progress. That is something I did. I put my effort into. I can see what I did for the day. And as time went on, as I started moving from different jobs and different careers, different career paths, different styles of work, you kind of lost that. When you've lost being around people you enjoyed being with, like, yeah, I didn't like speaking Spanish at work, but I enjoyed being around those guys. Like when we had our company picnic every year, I loved hanging out with them. I loved that we played horseshoes and softball together and soccer and shit. Like, I had fun doing all of that shit with them. I just didn't like the language.
Okay, from the other way around that, okay, for me it wasn't my job. It was literally as a kid, growing up in a Hispanic neighborhood, and then literally I only watched telenovelas as a kid in Spanish or anime, and then there were a bunch of other channels I didn't fucking understand. So then I had to, you know what? Let's watch this, and out of necessity, okay, pattern recognition, pattern recognition. Okay, I know English now. How do I say this in English? I don't know. Okay, how do I say this in English at school? That like this. Okay, new word learned, hopefully. Like, and to get a little political with this, in that same vein, like learning English as a necessity was to me fun. But then the fact that other people can travel to Mexico or other countries and then not learn the country there and expect everything to be in English is kind of presumptuous.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like, the majority of the guys in the factory did speak English. It's just that when you're in the moment, when you need to quickly say something and it's not your native tongue, you're not going to take a second, like, well, how do I say this? You're just going to say it. And that's what would happen. That's what would happen at work is these guys would just yell something out and like, what the fuck did he just say? Like, I had to learn Spanish to understand that because to keep the workflow going, I couldn't make them stop to translate what they were saying. I needed to learn what they were saying.
Okay, I
Outside of
got
work,
to.
they spoke English. It was broken, but they did speak English. And like the one guy I respected so much, we had a couple guys who came over illegally, but then did go through their path to citizenship to become legal citizens of the U.S. But the one guy, he entirely the only reason he learned English was because he would sit and watch Sesame Street every morning with his daughter before he came to work. So, yeah, when I first met him when I was a little kid working at the store, because I would go in for the summer and help clean up and stuff, a little summer job. So I met him when I was like 11, 12 years old, just doing like little sweep up jobs. Uh, his grasp of English was that of a toddler because he was learning English at the same time his toddler was learning English, but he was putting forth the effort. And I
I
absolutely respect that. Like, I know so many people now who have been in this country for 20 plus years who still barely speak a fucking word of English. Like, just turn on Sesame Street and learn the basics. It's still on. They still teach it. And now Sesame Street is bilingual.
Wait, what do you mean it's bilingual? I watched some Plaza Sesamo as well as Plaza Sesame Street when I was a kid. Plaza Sesamo is the Latin American version, but you get the idea. Continue.
Yeah, they have Spanish speaking characters that are on just regular Sesame Street now. They
Okay.
diversified Sesame Street so that they have these multinational characters who speak different languages. So you have some people who speak Korean, people who speak Polish and Russian and Chinese, because we're a nation of immigrants. You're going to run into those people in your day-to-day life. You know, people who don't have the firmest grasp on English, but still do understand English. So they speak with an accent. So Sesame Street started incorporating those type of characters.
Knowing little bits of every other language is fun. Like, what do you call it? Saying Guten Tag when I met somebody who speaks German. Like, that's the only thing I know how to say. But I, like, basically, it's a way of saying I culturally see and accept you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the little bits of different languages that I know has benefited me in my work too. Because it's basically customer service stuff, and it helps understanding things. But it's helped for like making signage at work. I've made signs in multiple languages because I'm one of the few employees who understands different languages, at least knows how to write in a few different languages. So to kind of help the language barrier for customer interactions, I've made little signs at the counter. Like at one of our locations, we have a lot of Russian and Polish speakers. So on our credit card swiper for gas, it's only for gas purchases because I work at a gas station. And one of the credit card readers is only for people paying with credit for gas. Can't ring anything up on that register. Well, somebody put signs on it that said for fuel only. And a lot of people would just always miss out like where to pay. So I put it in Spanish for gasoline, or gasoline, solo gasolina. I forget the Polish and the Russians because they're really similar, but I also put them in Polish and Russian because I knew how to write them. I forget the pronunciation of it, but I knew how to write it out to say petrol only. So people knew that this is where you pay for your gas. Just because those were the customers who come in with a lot of Spanish speakers and a lot of Polish and Russian. So my weird multinational just work history in the past is it slightly benefits me now, but I know multiple languages. I don't like knowing multiple languages. I know that sounds horrible to say it that way. I don't know a better way to say it. It's like English is my language. It's my first language. It's the language I grew up with. It's the one I'm technically fluent in, even though I can barely speak it sometimes because I fuck up English all the goddamn time or just forget words. But I know other languages. I just don't use them. I choose not to use them.
Stay tuned,
I know.
everybody, for multilingual anime episodes. Next time, Dragon Ball Z en español.
Oh, I know it always freaks out my coworkers when they start speaking Spanish, and I will respond to them, but I'll respond in English. Like, wait, you understand Spanish? Yes, yes, I do. But then they realize that, oh shit, we've been talking shit about Sean this whole time while we're standing right in front of him. Yes, yes, you have.
Why do people do that? Like, okay, like I don't like talking shit about people, but sometimes it's like, you know what? I had a bad day, and you know what? Susie's a bitch. She doesn't do her job. I have to work after her, and she's fucking the boss.
Yeah. I mean, they usually don't say anything really bad, but it's like they'll say things. I'm like, yeah, no. Then I'll respond. Like one of them was pointing out that, oh, I always get there early. Um, I forget what else they said, but they're like, it wasn't anything bad. They're just pointing out that I'm always there early, and I start working as soon as I walk in the door. I don't even say hi. I just go straight to doing something, and then I come around the counter and say hi to everybody for the day. And they commented on that, but they commented to each other. And I'm like, well, it's because there's shit to do and you don't do it. Like, I've been here for 5 minutes and I got it done. You've been here for 6 hours. Why the fuck didn't you do it?
Because I'm a slacker. That's why.
Really? That's basically how I can describe most of my coworkers. Slackers.
I mean,
I mean, I don't try to go above and beyond, but when it's a simple task of like, it takes 2 minutes to do, just do it and get it done with. And then you don't have to go back and double check it. You just get it out of your way.
all right, you know how like when you have ADHD, it's like I know I have to do it, but I can't, and it's not the laziness feeling. It's like I don't have the energy for it, and like not physical energy. It's like mental energy or some shit. You know that feeling?
Oh yeah, that happens to me when I have to work my overnight shift. There's so many like little things like I know I need to do this thing, but I'm not doing it right now.
Like okay, I've never had a prescription for it, but you know what? I think I'm just going to start drinking coffee literally every single day because I've noticed when I'm on vacation, I'm very, very lazy. And I'm like, why the fuck am I lazy? I do my job and I do my work. And I'm like, it's because I have structure and I have caffeine. And I just noticed that. And I'm
Exactly.
like, You know what? I'm just gonna have coffee every morning and get shit done.
Why do you think I drink so much caffeine?
Yeah, but I thought you were an addict.
Well,
No,
it used
like
to be because I
I'm
hate.
kidding.
It used to be because I hated sleeping and I always had shit to do, so I needed the caffeine to fuel me. Now it kind of helps me get through my day, and I am so super proud of myself. In the last year, I have cut down on caffeine so much in my life. Like I'm back to the point where it affects me like a normal fucking person. I drink one monster and I'm wired for hours now. When I used to drink, like, you've seen me do it, chug four of them in my 10-minute lunch break and still be exhausted.
Yeah, that was always weird. Your favorite drink was fucking Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew and coffee flavored monsters, all the coffee monsters.
Didn't you like that? It was a new coffee, Maria Mar. They were like some kind of
Yeah,
Latin name, and like they were
yeah,
really good
I
but
like
really
those.
strong.
Yeah, because those weren't energy drinks; they were just straight canned coffee. But yeah, they were really strong because it's a really strong Colombian roast coffee in there with just a little bit of cream and sugar. So they acted like an energy drink because they had just it was just strong coffee.
You should look into You do you know what Copico is?
Yeah,
Okay, so they have an Italian like bagged coffee that you can like mix together with hot milk and I mean hot water and shit, and it tastes really fucking good, and it's not too sweet.
yeah. Like I said, for now I've been laying off a little bit. I don't drink as much soda as I used to. I don't drink. I try to shy away from the super sugary drinks, but doing that, you end up with more artificial sugar for like, oh, there's zero sugar, but it's just full of artificial sugar.
That's why
So
I buy the
like,
drink mixes.
yeah, like I do some of those. Like I just like sweet tea, so I do make a lot of sweet tea. But I did find these pre-sweetened ones that I think are good. You thought they were super sweet,
Eh,
but here's the thing: the one you tried that I made only had two tea bags in it for a 64-ounce container. It's one bag per 8 ounces. So I should have had eight fucking bags in there. And you thought it was too sweet with two tea bags.
I'm not a diabetic, but goddamn,
Imagine if I'd have made it the way it was supposed to be made.
it would have been undrinkable. Fuck.
It probably would have been undrinkable for me because I thought it was perfect with, you know, two tea bags in there for that 64 ounces. And that's the thing. You're
Okay.
also not supposed to reuse those tea bags. Like they're meant for one cup and you're done. Like I'll use that thing to make until it stopped tasting sweet. I'll make 3 or 4 fucking cups out of one of those bags.
Normally I'd say ew, but you know what? With how sweet they were, do you?
Yeah, like once I stop tasting the sucralose that's in them, it's like, oh no, that's just regular tea now. Uh but yeah, we're definitely just going on rants now. So
Yeah.
I think we are done with this episode, people. Because I know you people enjoy listening to us go on these rants and weird tangents, but we're trying. We are legitimately trying to stay on topic when we have these discussions now.
I promise to be on caffeine when we do the next podcast.
Yay!
No, look,
Well, I am
just to
on
sum up.
caffeine right now. Like I
No
had
wonder.
an Alani new.
All right, just to sum up, like we said before, great movie. If you have not seen it, watch it because it's definitely worth it. If your kids are old enough, show it to your kids. It's PG-13. It's definitely a good movie. Young Renee Zellweger and Liv Tyler, beautiful women. Like, and everybody else does not seem to have worked in more stuff recently, except
Some of
for
them did,
Joe.
but
Joe did.
yeah, he's worked in a bunch of movies. Rory Cochrane was in a couple TV shows, but he kind of fell off a little bit after this movie. Um, Ethan Embry, he still had a decent career afterwards. He's the one who played Mark. But yeah, nobody was like big starring roles, and even Liv Tyler, she's been in a bunch of other movies, but like she was big at the end of the '90s. Like That Thing You Do and Armageddon, those were her big movies. So
And
you
okay,
had
like
this movie. So Empire Records in '95. 98 was Armageddon. I think it's either '99 or 2000. That Thing You Do.
she was also in Lord of the Rings. but that
Yes,
was
and,
like
and
star-studded
that's
all
what's
over the
so
place.
yeah, and that's what a lot of people probably know her as the most for that time period. But she was in a ton of good movies and some kind of shitty ones, like Jersey Girl.
No
Unfortunately, she was in
comment.
Jersey Girl. Also, Ad Astra. That's a more recent one.
That wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't.
I mean,
It
it
was an
wasn't a
okay
good one
movie.
either.
It was okay.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, another movie she was in that came out at the same time as this movie was called Heavy. It's a decent movie, but I want to say it's a great movie.
Never seen Heavy.
It's a romance thriller, but it's also a very slow and kind of depressing movie. It's about a shy guy who kind of falls in love with the waitress at his local pizza place.
Eh.
It's not a horrible movie. It's slow, and a lot of movies that are slow like that just kind of sucks. I don't know.
All right, like we said, go watch this movie right now. It's on Hulu, if I remember. Yes, it's currently on. No, wait, wrong movie. Here we go. Currently, the movie is on Paramount Plus, and you can rent it on Prime. That's the only places where it's on right now.
You can probably also find the DVD in stores and stuff.
If you
Especially
can,
if
I
you,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, most likely check used resale shops like oh god, what the fuck's the name of it? Disc Replay. Um, Weirdly, Half Price Books also has a decent DVD selection sometimes, so you might be able to find it at one of those.
If you're on the western side of the U.S., try Zia's Records.
Yeah,
And if you can, if you're a collector, I recommend the 2015 Blu-ray release just because it comes with the original theatrical cut and a bunch of what do you call it? A bunch of deleted scenes and stuff. Because for some reason, the transition from DVD to Blu-ray, DVD had a bunch of special features, and then Blu-ray not so much. But for some reason, that one does.
yeah, that is something I've always found weird. Like in the early days of Blu-ray, you got tons of special features because the Blu-rays could hold so much more information. And then it started transitioning off, so you get these special edition DVDs that had 3 or 4 discs and so many fucking special features and everything. And then you bought the Blu-ray, which cost as much as the special edition DVD, and you didn't have shit. But that this could hold so much more information. Why isn't it included? Or if you're
Exactly.
gonna like, if you're still gonna charge me $30, why can't you just give me 2 discs then? Like I buy a DVD that's got 4 discs in it for $25, and I've got 10 hours of extra crap to go through, plus the movie. But then I buy the Blu-ray for $45, and I've got the movie.
Like,
What the fuck?
admittedly, not everybody goes through it like you and I do, but I mean, it's still make it an option. I mean, what if, like, let's say later on, academically speaking, people study movies and they're like, you need to watch this specific version of this DVD in order to get the special features.
Yeah. Well, like Blade Runner, where the original theatrical cut is basically lost because all we get is the director's cut is
I,
it's seen as the definitive movie, and we have seen them because you have the box set that has the original, the extended edition, and the director's cut. The director's cut
it's
should not be the definitive. It doesn't really add anything worthwhile to the movie.
which is weird
But
because, like, literally, who did they kill to make that happen? And I mean that seriously because usually it's the theatrical cut that's like everybody's like, yeah, but no, you can never find the original theatrical cut. I got fucking lucky. That Blu-ray cost me $50.
yes, and that's why it cost you $50 because it has the original version. It's not just the extended and the director. Because usually that's all you get. You get the extended edition and you get the director's cut. Those are your choices when it comes to original Blade Runner. Like, yeah, but like the extended edition is 2 minutes longer. The director's cut is 10 minutes longer, and half the shit that got added is it's nothing. Like one of the extended scenes, the quintessential, like you have to see this version of this scene is Harrison Ford, Deckard, walking down an alleyway in the dark while it's raining. And in the theatrical, you see him start walking down the alleyway, and then it cuts to him coming out of the alleyway. And the extended edition, you get a little bit more of Oh, he starts this walk, and you can kind of, the camera follows him a little bit, and then it cuts to him coming out of the alleyway. And then in the director's cut, the one that everyone says, this is the definitive version, you have to see it. Every part of this movie is so much better. It's a 2-minute uncut scene of Harrison Ford walking a city block. What the fuck? How is this definitive? What did that add to the goddamn movie? Ooh, they didn't jump cut to him coming out the other side of the alleyway. Who fucking cares? He doesn't do anything in the alley anyways. He starts walking, he gets rained on for a bit, and he comes out the other side. The scene ends when he comes out the other end of the fucking alleyway anyways, and jumps to a whole different scene with different characters in a different place. We don't need to see him walk in real time. Fucking, they don't even need to see him come out the other side and look up at the billboard. They could just cut that scene when he steps into the alleyway and, all right, on to the next scene. We don't need any of this shit.
All right, we are getting long. You know what? Go for it. Sorry.
We are. No, as I said, I was just going to point out, like, the billboard he looks up at is just a product placement ad. I think it's a Coke billboard. So they probably had to show him looking up at it just for financial reasons to make sure they get that money. But other than that, there's no reason for that scene to be as long as it is.
I agree with you.
But yeah, we're going off on tangents and side shit and stuff. So with that, I think we're going to end this. Say goodnight, goodbye, and as always, be good to one another.
Remember, everybody, keep the faith. Bye bye.
Bye bye.